Why is it that some people fail at property and some people get some really good, excellent, outstanding success in property? Why is it? Hi, it's Cam at Premier Property, and I'm going to share with you my perspective on what I've found over training over 100,000 people plus and mentoring over 1,000 people one-to-one. And what I've noticed is that there's one key factor that is so important for success in property, and I'd like to share it with you. And the key word here is the overarching, the big one is momentum. That snowball effect, when you get started or even with your experience, taken to the next level, creating this momentum. Now, when we talk about momentum, what I've found is that there's actually three aspects of a momentum that really help you to succeed in property. Now, why I can share this with you? Well, I've been investing for over 29 years, and many of you know this. And we're active now. We're investing in property right now. Even through challenging times, we're still investing in property. And what I've noticed is that the key word is momentum, and there are three parts of this which I'm going to share with you now. So the first part of this is the tenacity. Being that person who has the idea that you are going to make this work no matter what. No matter what your adversity is, no matter whether your credit report is working for you right now or not working for you right now, whether you have money or whether you don't have money, whether it's challenging times right now or whether we're heading into a recession, putting all of that to one side and deciding, making the decision, having that tenacity of holding the idea, having that vision on why you want to actually make this work, and creating that momentum, keeping the momentum up by holding the idea and moving forward, having that on the horizon, your goal that you're going to make this work. I remember when I started back in 1989, it was the same thing for me because I didn't have a lot of money, hardly any money at all. But the thing was, I had the ideal, I had the vision that no matter what, I was going to make this a success. And that was deep down. So think about your tenacity. Think about how tenacious you can be no matter what other people say. Sometimes they're your friends and family, aren't they? Are you doing the right thing? Should you really be doing this? You can make property work. Yes, you can. All the questions and the ideas that get set out there. And right now is a great time where we're noticing what the media is doing. There's a lot of scaremongering out there mixed in with the facts. And what I like to work from is facts. And facts come along with that tenacious approach, that tenacity. As Barack Obama said in one of his speeches, the audacity of tenacity. So to gain your momentum, the first part out of the three that I'm going to share with you is absolutely having the tenacity. Now, having that tenacity, having the idea, having that vision, having that goal, knowing why you want to actually make this work is brilliant. But then the next thing is you actually got to do something, haven't you? So the doing part is very important, of course. So how do you do? Well, it's about being consistent is what I've noticed. So building in consistency into what you actually do on a daily basis. Now, the big mistake that many property investors actually do and implement is the fact that they think they need a lot of time for property. In fact, you don't. So, experienced investors, what they're doing is they're investing in property full time like me, but most of them what they do is they just do one thing, and what they find is that they have so much time on their hands because, to be fair, once you've got a system, once you've got a process, once you learn this, then it doesn't take an awful amount of time to be investing in property. So these people, they tend to be unfocused, their day isn't structured because they have the money is there. But they wake up at different times. They don't know when to go to sleep. The day has no structure. So something to be aware of, for experienced investors. And if you're not experienced yet, there's something to be aware of when you get there. So it's about focusing your time if you're an experienced investor. And if you're starting out new, the biggest myth out there in the property world is that you spend a little bit of time every single day in property, and you'll be so consistent. My view is, from my personal experience, it doesn't work like that. Because if you try to implement property every single day, and you've got a job, a full-time job, or you've got a business that you're running, or maybe it's funding that you haven't got a lot of funding, so you're thinking, how the heck do I make this work? Well, it is about the second keyword I'm going to share with you, which is about consistency. Being consistent, however, having some flexibility within that consistency. So let me explain what I mean by this. So, let's say you're starting out new, or even if you're an experienced investor, think about the structure. So the structure for someone that's starting out new, the myth is that you should be doing something every single day. And what you find is doing something every single day pretty shortly becomes very boring. And so it's about keeping it exciting. So how do you keep it quick, sharp, exciting, front of mind, thinking about the vision, as we already mentioned, the tenacity? Well, it's about making sure that you're doing things typically, within an hour on a daily basis. So you're finding yourself an hour in a day, but not every single day, not 7 days a week, but you're finding 3 to 4 days in a week where you are spending 1 hour in your property business. Starting in that property business, learning what to do, applying the learning, which we'll come to in a moment. So building that consistency. So if you do this, and if you give yourself a time slot of like an hour, what you'll find is that your brain will actually understand this. You'll feel that you're actually getting something done. You feel accomplished, that it's actually working for you. And the time frame, you understand, doesn't have to be every day. It can be 3 to 4 days, and it can be an hour within that day. That hour, now if you're finding difficulty to find time, you'll find that the hour could be 30 minutes in the morning, that could be 30 minutes in the evening, that could be 30 minutes in your lunch break and your morning. So you're finding the hour and you're keeping to the hour. So no less than an hour, no more than an hour. Why? Because your brain, if you think about it, I don't know if you've done this. So in the past, I thought about the hour. I've done an hour's work with, in our business. When I started, I used to do this. And then I thought, well, you know what, why don't I do 2, 3, 4 hours today, which means that I won't have to do another hour tomorrow. Now, what happens is your brain really picks up on this, and to help with the consistency, it's really important that you pick something up within the hour and then you drop it after the hour, because your brain will understand that you're going to pick it up again on your chosen day. If you don't, your brain will say to you, well, you spent 2 hours the other day, so maybe you can miss this one. And you know that you've got to stay with this. Hope this is making sense. I know we're going deep here, but let's think about this. Psychologically, you got to make it work. You got the tenacity, and now it's about creating the consistency. So that's 3 to 4, like I say, in a week. Now add to this half a day every 2 weeks. So if you're someone with not a lot of time in your hands, this will absolutely work for you. Half a day every 2 weeks. Now you can find this half an hour. That could be a weekend. That could be part of your annual leave. That could be many different things you can think about, right? That could be spending less time with your loved ones, but having focused time with your loved ones. Hear what I'm saying here? Focus time. But when you're working on your business, when you're implementing your business, you're fully focused on this. So thinking about the focus with your consistency. So added to this, this process repeated on a continuous basis, and we're talking about consistency, you'll find that you will start to make property work, and the momentum, that snowball effect, will start to grow. Well, that's all great. So you got the tenacity, you got the idea, you got the vision, you're working on it. You got the consistency, you got some figures for the consistency on how much time you should be investing in property with a system, with a learning process, so that you can make this work. So now you've got that. So the consistency is there. You got flexibility within that consistency. So it's that's great. And the third key part of this is, of course, you can do all of that, but if you don't take any action, then you're not going to get any results. You know this, I know this, we all know this. But sometimes we need to share this, don't we? So the key word here becomes action. Now, there's a couple of ways that you can actually take action, and I'll share with you one of the ways I used to take action when I started 29 years ago. To be fair, I was looking for people to learn from. But out there, if we're being completely honest with each other, it's quite a sharky environment out there. Not everybody wants to share wholeheartedly how this actually works. It's quite refreshing when you find people like this. And I was looking for these people, but I found it very difficult to find property investors, property developers who were willing to share wholeheartedly how the whole property game, the system actually works, even though I was looking for them. So what I did was I took action. I didn't know back then, I was learning, 29 years ago, learning. I didn't have any systems, how to build the systems. And that was a very painful process because, yes, I made mistakes in the past and I had to learn from them. Some of those mistakes took 5-7 years of learnings, which, I can share with someone like you, within 30 minutes, within 15 to 30 minutes, job done. 5 years, 7 years of pain. However, my excuse or my reason is I didn't have that luxury because I couldn't find the right people that would share the right information to actually make the action work. I hope this is making sense. So I took the action because I felt like that there was no choice but other than to take the action without the learning, because there was no learning. Very painful, laborious, long process. I then, in the early 90s, fell upon, I say fell upon because I didn't even know this world existed. There was no YouTube, there was no internet, but I actually found my first mentor who really showed me how, you could actually learn and, really apply this. And it was so refreshing. It was a real eye-opener and I was so excited. So, the learning process, what I find, and I love the learning process with action, is the way that you can actually implement this. So ever since then, I'm always looking for how I can learn something really quickly from someone who's already doing it, so that what it means is that you and I, we can then apply that and actually make it work even better in a shorter time frame. Because, if you think about it, why would you want to waste your time trying to learn something and then take the action when you got someone who can actually share with you exactly what to do? So this is my approach. You, of course, can choose yours, right? So I love to take the learning and then apply the action. So this is the 3 key aspects which I find really builds momentum in property, and I'm sharing it with you. So if you want to really fast track your success in property, if you want to scale your success in property, if you want to replace your income in the fastest possible way that you can ever imagine, you can imagine replacing your income in the fastest possible way, well, here are the 3 key parts of momentum that I've just shared with you. Having the tenacity, keeping that tenacity, making sure that you got the consistency, and thirdly, applying the action with knowledgeable action, which will help you to be a success in property, move forward, and really, create the dream that you want with your finances. All the things, think about, imagine what you want to be achieving, getting those done.